Hello and welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to join with Alexandra with her fantastic film, Thirsty Girl. Let's take a look at the clip.
Charlie, are you in there?
What?
Charlie, let me in. I really have to pee.
Just wait a minute.
Charlie, I swear I am going to piss my fucking pants.
Fuck.
Charlie, I'm coming in.
Just 1 second. Shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ, what took you so
stop!
long?
What? You're peeing on my phone!
I can't fucking stop!
Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family, and thank you for bringing your film to us. And yeah, really nice, really excited to have you here. For those that haven't seen your film, tell us a brief synopsis.
Sure, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank y'all. So Thirsty Girl is a 10-minute short drama that is about Charlie, a young Asian American woman. She is on a road trip with her little sister Nick, and we're not sure where they're going or why, but all we know is Charlie can't stop sending nudes on her phone and trying to watch porn and trying to like escape her sister to, take care of herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the short.
It's a really wonderful film. It's so well shot and so wonderfully acted as well. Where did the inspiration come in deciding to turn this idea into a film?
Yeah, so Thirsty Girl is actually my first film, and it is the proof of concept for my feature script by the same name, which is also my first script. The inspiration for this came from my own experience. I'm a recovering sex addict. I'm also a recovering alcoholic, drug addict, everything. But sex addiction is the addiction that has been the most devastating to my personal life, and also the one that I felt both I and society had the least understanding for. Mm-hmm. And so when I sat down to write my first film, I knew I wanted it to be about sex addiction. I wanted to make something that would say to the world, sex addiction is a real addiction, because a lot of people don't really believe that it is, but I know for myself and a lot of others it is. And I also wanted to show sex addiction from a more compassionate and nuanced perspective, because a lot of my favorite films about sex addiction just focus on a little bit more on the depraved aspects of the addiction, mm-hmm. and not necessarily on who this person is. Mm-hmm. I wanted to make a film that showed a real sex addict and showed a little bit of hope as well, and showed a sex addict who is an Asian woman, which I had never seen before. Yeah. So yeah, another big part of the film is the sisterhood relationship. The film is definitely a love letter to my little sister, I like to say, especially the feature, because it's much longer, and so you get a lot deeper into the relationship. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a very, very personal film that I'm really passionate about, and I couldn't have imagined making anything else for my first film.
Well, congratulations, because you would not believe that was your first film. It was you think you'd done 30 films, my goodness me, seriously. And thank you so much for making a film that, firstly, is personal to you, and you're putting that out there and making it universal for other people to either understand or empathize or relate, but also so wonderful that it came from your lens, from terms of actor and your own experiences. Thank you. When you're writing and directing this, obviously it's going to be a feature, which we're very excited about. How did how was the writing process completely taken from personal experience? How did you develop these characters? And your cast was so good. How did that also filter in as well?
Yeah, so writing the film, honestly, writing the first draft of Thirsty Girl was the most inspired I've ever been in my life. Mm-hmm. And it's total fiction, The feature is a road trip between New York and Kentucky with two sisters. One of them is a secret sex addict, and the other is a recovering alcoholic who just relapsed. And so mm-hmm. Charlie's driving her younger sister to rehab, and then she gets into all these misadventures because of her own sex addiction. And I've never been on a trip like that. It's complete fiction. Yeah. However, the characters, they are almost 100% me and my little sister. Yeah. My little sister's not an addict. I kind of just split my addictions between the two characters, but the personalities definitely, and a lot of the film is about the relationship with the parents, and those relationships are completely almost, 100% my relationships with my parents. Yeah. And a lot of the misadventures and you know, sexy situations are definitely taken from my own life, but
Yeah.
just like, you know, I'm not like that imaginative of a writer. I think like any opportunity I have to take something from my own life, I put it in there. So it's fiction, but it's also quite autobiographical. And then working with the cast for the short, I feel so lucky because they're so talented. The two actresses,
So
Samantha
talented.
On, who plays Charlie, and Claire Mackenzie Dunn, who plays Nick. First of all, they look like sisters.
Yes.
And they feel like sisters. The first chemistry read we did with them in New York, as soon as like Nick put her like head on Charlie's shoulder, they just started crying. And like we knew these had to be the sisters.
Oh, wow. That's a
and-
great feeling as a director, isn't it? Like,
Yes.
yes, my film, yeah.
Totally. And it was something very specific I was looking for the Charlie character. Like I wanted a young Asian woman who doesn't like seem like she's a slut, but she totally is. Like
Yeah.
that's like kind of a hard thing to cast.
Yeah.
And you know, as soon as I saw Samantha On's face in our Google Drive with all the tapes, I was like, who is this girl? I have to meet her. And they are both, you know, they don't have that much on-screen experience, but they're so talented, and I
Yeah.
feel so lucky that we essentially got to discover them for these roles.
And listen, it takes someone that has a sensitivity and a relation to be able to direct obviously these amazing actors, right? And I'm just curious, what's your process as a director working with your actors? Of course, like you can't, you know, chemistry's there or it's not, right? But like in terms of like working with them, what's your process in working with actors?
Yeah, so I'm so new to directing. There are many aspects of directing that feel very challenging for me, and where I still, you know, I'm like wading through the waters, but casting and working with actors is one of the aspects that do feel intuitive. So I feel very lucky because that's definitely, in my eyes, and I think in a lot of great directors' eyes, like the most important part of directing.
Yeah.
I read this great book called Directing Actors to prepare for shooting the film, and my husband, he's an incredible director, and he was our editor and creative producer as well, and he was definitely my mentor, and he really drilled it into me that the performance is the most important part of a film. And so we did rehearsals. The actresses studied the feature script to get to know their characters really well, to shoot the short. And we really became a family, the three of us. We spent a lot of time together to build that relationship between the two of them and between the three of us, so that once we got on set, we were a family. They were like calling me mom. And
Oh,
I know.
that's so sweet.
Yeah, so I think like each director has their own style, and I'm definitely like a set mom. That's how I direct. Like in a good way though.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
hey, no, it's family. You're creating a family on set.
Yeah.
I completely understand that. Okay, so obviously this is proof of concept for a feature. So what's the steps with that right now?
Yeah, we're in an exciting moment right now. Miraculously, the short was selected for Sundance this year. So we played Sundance, which was like a total dream come true and a huge shock.
That's amazing.
And so since then, there's been a lot of interest in the film and the feature, and I just attached a producer to the feature, which I'm really excited about. His name is Asher Goldstein, and he produced one of my favorite films, Short Term 12. He produced Just Mercy, and then the recent TV show for Disney, American Born Chinese. So he's amazing, and we also just was selected for a fellowship called the Anti-Gravity Academy Screenwriters Camp, which is with Carlos Lopez Estrada's production company, and he, you know, is an award-winning director and producer. He just made like one of the Sundance hits of the year, Didi, and so building the producing team of the feature is happening right now, and I'm so excited about it, and aiming to maybe shoot early next year.
That's amazing. I mean, listen, congratulations on all those successes. You deserve it. You've worked hard on this, but it must feel amazing. Your first film, and it's got all these, you know, affirmations, allocations, everything, and you deserve it. Well done. And I'm just curious out there to finalize making your first film. Any advice, people that want to follow in your footsteps, like what kind of creative, artistic advice do you kind of go by that you could share with our filmmaking audience?
Yes. Let's see. I mean, I think I'll share like maybe 3 pieces of advice. One, I think performance for me is the most important part of making the film. And so, you know, that's really the true job of the director, is to direct the actors. Like everything else on set, there's kind of like someone else who can take care of it, but no one else can direct the actors. And so making sure that is one's focus. I'd say staying true to your like vision and like learning to listen to yourself. For me, because I was so inexperienced and I was working with a lot of people who were very talented and had made many more films, it was easy at times to defer to their opinion when in my heart I kind of knew like I wanted to do something else, and it was always the wrong decision in the end. And so there has to be a balance with like listening to your team, because you know, part of being a director is assembling a great team. And so you choose people who you know their feedback, their ideas are going to make the film better. But when it comes down to it, when you feel really strongly about something, you have to listen to your voice, because that's why you're the director. And so I think, yeah, like finding the balance between relying on your team creatively and listening to your gut. And then my last piece of advice is, I think filmmaking is so hard. I've had a previous career doing like software engineering and then like prison reform activism, and filmmaking somehow is the hardest thing I've done, because it involves so many different disciplines, and it is like a race against time and money, and it is making good art. There's not a formula for it. It's not like software engineering or business where it's like, okay, you can just A/B test your way to the right solution. Making good art is completely elusive, and you're at the mercy of the gods. And so it is a very difficult emotional journey as an artist. And so my best advice is to just take care of yourself and have faith that, you know, you're gonna make something beautiful if you just keep going and you just listen to yourself. And that the most important part of making any film, in my opinion, is to just learn to become a better filmmaker. And so focusing on that instead of like trying to get into X festival or trying to, you know, accomplish X goal, because you can't predict any of those things. The only thing that really you can predict is that you're going to learn and you're going to become better. So that's something that I try to hold on to.
That is amazing advice, and you're doing it, and congratulations on that. And we can't wait to support you on your feature and your next adventures. So thank you so much. But we're very proud of you. Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family. We can't wait for more of your projects. But thank you so much for bringing your first film of many to us as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Thank you, Alexandra, everybody.